In the West, many depend on loans and credit cards. But can people in the developing world borrow their way out of poverty? I've come here to Dar es Salaam to meet two merchants to whom I made a loan to find out about microfinance up close and personal. I'm Alvin Hall. 25 years on Wall Street have taught me a lot about business. But now I'm on a new journey around the world, meeting a new breed of entrepreneur, more interested in doing good than making money. Social entrepreneurs. And I want to help. Before I traveled to Africa, my journey began on the other side of the world. Microfinance is the lending of small amounts of money to entrepreneurs in the developing world. These loans don't involve the usual paperwork and they lack collateral. Yet they have changed the lives of people in India, China, Latin America, parts of Europe, and Africa. I've come to meet a company that's added a new feature to the microfinance world here in the city by the bay, San Francisco. This laid-back Northern Californian city is often associated with the internet, not finance. But Kiva.org is bringing credit to the masses via the internet. Using the Kiva website, I'm going to lend some of my money to a small business in a very different part of the world. The businesses range from taxi drivers in Kazakhstan to pig farmers in Cambodia. Matt Flannery founded Kiva in 2005. He and Kiva president, Premal Shah, are the driving forces behind this social enterprise. Premal gave me a guided tour.
Basically, you can go online to www.kiva.org and essentially sift through entrepreneurs in need of loan. And when you sift through these entrepreneurs, you can actually read about their life story. And then when you make a loan to someone, you can follow their story and how their business is growing.
So I'm going to look through and see if I can find somebody I want to loan some money to.
Great.
Okay.
Have at it.
See you later.
All right.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay, thanks. The default rate at Kiva is just 2%, so I'm expecting my money back. I found one group in Tanzania that interests me. It's called the Ford Group. There are 26 members, 24 women, and 2 men. The mix of businesses is fascinating. There's one particular lady in this group who sells cassava on the street of Dar es Salaam. And her story was very touching to me, so they interest me. So I think I'll make a loan to them. Okay. So I made my first loan via Kiva, $25 to the Ford Group in Tanzania, and the group will decide which one of their members actually gets the loan. So I'll be curious who ends up with my $25 and how long it will take me to get that money back. Since Kiva began, over 600,000 people have lent more than $120 million. This has helped more than 300,000 entrepreneurs around the world. I'm following the money I lent to Tanzania. Dar es Salaam, the business capital of Tanzania. It's one of Africa's fastest growing cities. Like so much of the developing world, business is conducted in the open. This city is overflowing with small businesses and budding entrepreneurs. Rita, a local microfinance coordinator, took me to meet a cassava seller, a member of the group to which I loaned $25. And what is she selling here?
She sells cassava. She fries it and then she sells it to the people who are having breakfast.
And how important, Rita, has the loan been for Atuna?
I used to sell cassava for 2 hours and then I was out of stock. With the loan, I can buy more stock and work for 4 hours. And now I'm selling ice cream as well.
Oh, so she's expanding the business. Good. This is very good. So she has more products to sell and she'll appeal to more people. She's making really good progress, I think. Just looking into Atuna's eyes, you can tell that this loan has really made a difference. She's a person who has a business and, much to my surprise, she's expanding it, bringing in other products. I am really happy I made this loan. And of course, I couldn't leave without trying a Tanzanian breakfast.
It's like potato, like a potato. It's not bad, like a sort of big French fry. Who thought I'd be eating a French fry in a Tanzanian village? Hey.
A tuna pays interest on her loan. This covers the cost of the local microfinance organization. But neither I, the lender, nor Kiva receive any interest.
How does Kiva cover its costs?
When you make a $100 loan on Kiva, you have the opportunity to pay us 15% of that on top. Now, you don't have to. You can just decide to pay $100. But what we find is most of our users donate to us, which helps us keep the lights on.
Like Atuna selling ice cream, Kiva is expanding into new areas, bringing its brand of microfinance to the richest country on earth.
So you're now lending into the U.S.?
Well, we think that poverty and people's inability to access credit is a near universal phenomenon. It happens in every country. And so to me, the United States is just one other country. It's kind of Kiva's 45th country. And up till now, we've worked only in the developing world. And we'll let the internet community decide.
New and different products can affect the perception of a brand. Will moving into a country known to be as rich as the USA cause problems for Kiva?
Hi, I'm Maureen.
I'm Eric Manch.
Hi, Kiva World.
This is James Pettigrew.
Back in Tanzania, I met another small business owner who also owes me $25.
Very nice to meet you. And this is your shop, isn't it?
Nima runs a pharmacy. She also sells clothes door to door.
So when did she decide to expand her business?
After I got the loan, I decided to expand. With the capital, I bought more clothes and I opened my pharmacy.
So in addition to the pharmacy and the clothing, you're a singer also?
In the evening, during the summer, when the sun shines, I sing in a band.
She sells the clothing, she has the pharmacy, and she sings. Which one is her real passion?
I have been a singer for so many years, so singing is a big part of me. But I've also seen people make a success of business, and that is my dream. I want to be a successful businesswoman too.
In the long run, Nema faces an interesting problem. Will she be able to expand the business and find people she can trust to keep it going? The second problem will be there's only one Nema. She sells clothes, she runs the pharmacy, and she sings in her spare time. At some point, she is going to have to decide which one satisfies her the most and cast her lot more with that one.
I've completed the first part of my journey here in Tanzania. I'll be back in 6 months to see how Atuna and Nima are doing. I've seen Kiva in action in the field and behind the scenes in San Francisco. Now I'm going to set them a challenge. But before I do, there's one more place I need to poke my nose: Kiva's accounts.
Looking through the financial statements, some of the numbers are impressive, like how low their fundraising costs are. Another thing that springs to mind is how do they help their borrowers deal with the fluctuation of the US dollar, which could be very damaging if the dollar appreciates too much.
Saturday morning, and I'm heading over to Matt's. I have 2 business challenges for the entrepreneurs.
Going through your financial statements was really a revelation. What really impressed me a lot was the fact that you've been able to raise, on average, right now, $1 million a week. But yet, for 2008, your entire fundraising expenses was less than $250,000 for the year. That's impressive. Having said that, some things did pop up. One was, if you're lending money to people in all of these countries and it's denominated in US dollars, how are the borrowers protected against currency risk?
What Kiva's done is we have introduced a policy where they can share the risk with the internet community. If the currency devalues more than 20%, then anything beyond that you can pass back to Kiva, and Kiva will pass back to the hundreds of internet lenders who've loaned money to that group or business.
So they claim they have a way of meeting this challenge, but it's not on the website yet. Let's hope they get it working before a currency crashes.
My other issue relates directly to your expansion in the U.S. What is the maximum amount that somebody can borrow in the U.S.?
So the maximum loan amount that you can request in the U.S. as a small business is $10,000.
$10,000 strikes me as a lot of money for one reason and one reason only: lawsuits. If someone in the U.S. loans money to somebody else, then they can sue them if they lose the money. It would strike me that a more prudent approach might be to lower your limit to what's available for settlement in small claims courts. Your challenge will be that those limits are set by each state, not by the federal government. If I were a borrower over Kiva and somebody sued me because my business failed and they said I mismanaged the business, my first thought was, I'm going to sue Kiva. Why didn't they protect me? So I'll be interested to see what you decide in the next 6 months between now and the time I come back.
We'll get back to you about that.
Yes, thanks.
All right.
Thank you. Good.
It has been 6 months since my first trip to Tanzania to meet the businesswomen to whom I lent $25 through the Kiva website. Rita, isn't this where Atuna used to be?
Yes, this is where she used to have her cassava.
What happened?
She decided to move to a better business because cassava is seasonal.
Rita took me to Atuna's house. I want to know about the long-term impact of these small loans.
So Atuna, what happened to your cassava business?
When I see that one business is not doing so well, I must change. I look for another business so that I can get money. Right now, I'm selling kangas. I'm also selling phone top-up cards, cold water, and ice cream. That's what I'm doing at the moment.
How did the loan help you out?
Now I have the money to take my child to school. I can pay for her transport and tuition. And for me, I have money for my personal use, expenses, and this helps.
After the first loan from Kiva, did you take out a second loan?
I have a second loan, but the second is smaller because my businesses now give me a bit of money. I can use this as capital instead of taking a huge loan, which would bring problems when it came to paying it back.
The interest rate on Atuna's loan is 36% per year, not a small amount, but the relative cost of administering microloans is high. Often the only alternative are loan sharks charging much, much more. It's time to practice my sales technique as I join Atuna selling fabric. I'm sure I will be a great help.
Tell her she's a supermodel. Ask her if she's going to buy it. Is she? Oh, good. That's 2 sales. Bravo. If you were selling cassava, how long would it take you to make the same money that you make by selling fabric?
The profit from cassava is very different. Fabric is better because I get my stock at half the price I sell it for.
Good, good. Well, let's go on to your next sale.
Not only is Atuna's business backed by borrowed money, but she herself extends credit to her customers. A clever strategy, but not without risk.
What happens if somebody can't pay?
They usually pay me every day, and within 2 weeks, all payments should be finished.
Bravo, bravo. You deserve congratulations. You really do.
Next, I caught up with Neema. When I last met her, she had 3 sources of income: selling clothes, singing in a band, and running a pharmacy. Like Atuna, Neema has had to change direction. The pharmacy has closed, and now she's selling charcoal from home. I wanted to know what had gone wrong.
The drug prices became very high, and it was too stressful. I tried to keep it running, but I've decided it's better to go into something else.
Did you lose money on it?
I don't know if I lost that much money. The pharmacy business is difficult. You need a lot of money to further the business, and getting all the licenses was a problem.
Because you had to close the pharmacy, are you less optimistic about your future?
Because I have a loan, I can't only stick to just one business. If you struggle with one, it is not good. But my dreams for the future are still to be a big business person and make life easier.
It's been really uplifting to see how such a small amount of money can bring such huge optimism into people's lives. It's also been interesting to see how these small merchants use diversification to protect them against whatever could happen. Now, I'm on my way to the Kiva headquarters to meet Matt and Premel to see how they are doing with their challenges. Next stop, San Francisco. There's a lot to catch up on. Kiva's launch in the United States has generated plenty of publicity. Before returning to visit Matt and Premel at Kiva, I decided to check out their website and the news media online to see what has happened over the past 6 months. Well, there has been some controversy. It seems that the loans were not direct person-to-person loans as they had advertised at the site. And I wonder, what impact has this had upon the organization? A New York Times article explained how Kiva's loans are actually made before lenders fund them. This information was on the Kiva site, but it wasn't the person-to-person lending that some had assumed. However, if the borrower defaults, it is the Kiva lender who loses. The hullabaloo didn't stop there. Kiva started out as an organization making loans in developing countries to help alleviate poverty. By extending this to America, they faced some controversy. Since my last visit to Kiva, the office has grown. There's more staff, but it still has that laid-back Bay City feel. Premel and Matt, it's great to see you again.
Good to see you too.
So what has been going on during the past 6 months?
At the highest levels, it looks like we're raising about $1 million more each month on Kiva. So
congratulations.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And there's been a couple of I would say, controversies too at Kiva, which have kept us on our toes. One of them has been, we launched in the United States, and we tested whether or not that would be a good idea. And there was, I would say, a pretty vocal group of users who said, the US is the richest country on earth. Why would you, Kiva, allow people to lend money to someone in the United States? The second controversy that we had was, as Kiva scaled and got more operationally kind of efficient, essentially, we allowed our microfinance institutions to pre-disperse the loans.
I heard feedback from reporters that the dispersal dates weren't high up on the page, so we made it unmistakable when you make a loan, the true situation, how the money's flowing. So we learned a bit from that.
I ask you about the risk of litigation. Given all of the challenges you face and some of the negative press, do you worry about litigation?
Our best strategy against being litigated against is just running a business that's truthful, transparent, and keeping our lenders close to us through community.
My other challenge to the guys was how to protect their field partners from currency fluctuations. They already had a plan to do this, but had they got it up and running?
Earlier this year, we rolled out a policy that basically was like a stop-loss protection for the microfinance institution. So when a microfinance institution raises money on Kiva, any devaluation greater than 20%, which is a real catastrophic devaluation, they can actually share that with Kiva, and Kiva will share it with all the internet lenders who made loans to their borrowers.
So Matt and Premel's way of dealing with currency fluctuations is now in place. However, it seems my advice to lower the U.S. loan limit to minimize the potential damage of litigation has fallen on deaf ears. While here, I want to meet one of these U.S. borrowers who so upset some of the Kiva faithful. I'm here to meet Gloria, who borrowed $5,000 for her small business from the Kiva website. Hi, Gloria.
Good morning, how are you?
Great smile.
Thank you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You as well.
So tell me about your business.
We're a small neighborhood-based mailing and shipping store. We provide professional services, mostly to the Sunset District. Excuse me.
And how did you acquire this business?
I was looking for a job, and I was surfing online, and I happened to come across the listing for the business. I came out, I met the owner, I liked it, and I quit my job.
So instead of getting a job, you bought a business.
I was too dumb to be scared.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
You're right across the street from one of the biggest banks in America. Why didn't you get a loan from them?
Not so easy. That I don't fit their credit profile.
What profile are they looking for?
I think just bigger businesses, something that's not so risky. They wanted for you to be in business for 3 years. At the time, they wanted a business plan, and my credit score wasn't quite high enough.
So your only opportunity was really through the Opportunity Fund in Kiva.
In different, yes, smaller organizations, smaller community-based organizations, absolutely.
When Kiva started this expansion in America, there was a lot of criticism that they should not come to America, that they should stay focused on helping in developing countries. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely, they should help people in other countries, but we need help right here in America as well, right here at home. Lots of need for business help for small businesses.
It's been so nice to meet you. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
That evening, having found out my money had been paid back, I looked for another entrepreneur to relend the same $25. I think that one of the things that makes Kiva attractive is that you can sit in your room, in your home, and reach out around the world and lend money to people that will benefit them, that will make a difference in their lives. But also the ease with which you can take that same money and relend it. As a friend of mine said, $25 won't make a difference in my life. It's probably what I spend in a week buying bottled water. So why not take that same money and lend it to somebody, and I'll drink water from the tap.